right. Oh, I gotta fix my screen there. Welcome everyone to Begin with Breath Tai Chi. My name is Dr. Adam Potts, the Tai Chi PT, and today is Tai Chi for stable joints. So this class is going to be great for everyone. However, if you do have specific conditions such as hypermobility, where you have too much mobility or too much flexibility, some people call it being like double jointed, then having stability is how you balance that out. All right, it's going to be really helpful if you have that, or even Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, known as EDS. So this is something that you can do that actually won't reinforce the over flexibility, which a lot of other practices tend to do. All right, so I find that this is a great alternative to yoga, especially, or in addition to, but a lot of times, like with yoga, there's a lot of stretching, and sometimes it promotes a little bit of overstretching for people that don't need it too much, or at least in certain joints. All right, and so now with hypermobility, there could be different joints that need more mobility and some that need less. And so what Tai Chi does is it brings balance to the body. It's kind of like it meets you where you're at. All right, so this is going to be helpful to really bring balance to your body, a nice balance of flexibility to the joints that need it and stability to the ones that need that. All right, if you can hear me okay, please type in Team Live if you are here live. If you're on the replay, type in Team Replay. All right, click the like button, please, too. That way this sends out to more people in the community. All right, we have a lot of people in our community. We have over 80,000 people now in our Facebook group. We have a YouTube channel now growing. And we also have an online studio with over 1,000 members. So it's really just such a great group of people. And we do screen everyone. So you made the cut. Congratulations. All right, and so today we're going to do a 15-minute Tai Chi Flow that's designed to improve joint stability for the joints that really need it. All right, and then also afterwards, I'm going to show you the best 3 exercises you can do in addition to the Tai Chi. All right, this is going to help create stability in your joints and in your whole body. And what happens in the body also reflects the mind. And so especially what you'll notice with Tai Chi is that these movements affect the body and the mind. We synchronize the breath, and it can even affect the spirit, depending on what that means to you. So we're not dogmatic here. So like I always say, if it don't apply, let it fly. You don't want to miss out on the great benefits if there's just maybe one thing that doesn't quite resonate with you or not. So just let it fly and just do what works. All right, it can really be here no matter what your beliefs are. As long as you're kind, at least in our community, hopefully in everyday life too. But also our community is built on kindness and compassion. This makes it a safe place for people to come no matter who you are. All right, so please keep that in mind. All right, and then let's see. Let's see, a couple people said the sound is cutting out. If it is, that was one person though, so it might just be you who mentioned that. If the sound is cutting out, then type out in the comments. If it's fine, then type in. Just so I know if it may just be one person. So, yeah, there's one person, let's see. My sound is good. Okay, so it's likely on your end. You might want to check your reception, check your internet connection or your speakers. All right, and so with that said, we'll find a place to do some mindful movement. We'll do our Tai Chi Flow. I'll also play a little bit of the Native American style flute at the end of the flow. That helps just to create a little bit more inner peace, and then also the bonus exercises and a great quote for the end. So stick around till the end if you can. All right. Oh, by the way, if you're new to our community, please register for the new member webinar. It's an introduction to Tai Chi this Saturday at 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time, US. Register even if you can't make it. I'll send you the replay. The link is in the video description, or just type webinar in the comments and we'll send you the link. All right, so now we'll do our Tai Chi dance. I'll play some music as well. All right, so as always, don't worry about getting the movements perfect. Just follow along the best you can. I'll be your mirror image, and you can have a seat at any time. We'll begin with the feet together or as close as you can. The hands can come to the lower abdomen, taking a few deep breaths in and out. As you breathe in, the belly expands. And as you breathe out, the belly returns toward the spine, abdominal breathing, or sometimes called the belly breath. Breathing with efficiency. Just really imagining oxygen and energy going to every cell of your body, giving us healing and vitality, giving us energy and peace. Just taking a moment to really feel into the body, feeling present, coming into the here and now. And then on the next inhale, you can hold the breath at the top just for a moment. Just really feel what it's like to hold on. And then let it out with a big sigh. Feel what it's like to let go. The hands float down by the sides. And as you breathe in, the arms float up. They circle in front as if you're gathering in energy, bring it into the heart, and then send it down towards the earth, sinking the chi. Breathing in, gather. Breathing out, directing down. Nice and easy, nice and slow. Bringing mindfulness to the body. One more time, sink the chi. And then step one foot out to the side, either foot. The arms float up in front. Then the arms get heavy, floating down, the knees and hips soften. Breathing in, rising up like mist from the lake. Breathing out, floating down like a soft rain. We call this opening the door, the start of the journey. One more time, rising up, softening down. And then this time, very gently begin to rotate towards one side, the palms open. It's a gentle rotation, then coming back to center, turning the other way. The wise owl looks behind. So looking over the shoulder, but never forcing it, just always easing in, just rotating side to side, palms open, facing away. Coming back in front of the abdomen, one more time, the wise owl looks behind. Very nice. And then circle the arms all the way around and hug the tree, right out in front. And then step one foot out a little bit wider. And then from here, the fingertips dip down towards the earth as you soften the hips and knees. The hands come forward, all the way up and over, and then down in front of the body, digging in the garden. Just coming down as much as you can comfortably, just going easy at first. The hands are as you're holding a column of air. And then just coming up as much as you can comfortably, and then reversing direction. The hands float up, they drift out and down as we harvest from the garden. Softening down, rising back up, breathing in and breathing out. It's building strength and stability, mindfulness. One more time. This time, round out as if you're hugging a big tree, right out in front once again. Then the arms open wide. This hand here scoops under the other one on top as you embrace the moon. And then pivot on the heel, the toes point out to the side. The moon orbits around the earth. So circling around as if you're carrying something precious. Carrying the moon. And then reverse direction. Whichever way you were going, just go the other way. Circulating the energy throughout the body, warming up the joints. And then when you're ready, you can hug the tree, bring it back to center, pivoting on the heel, the arms open wide, and then this hand scoops under, the other one on top. Catch the moon. Pivot on the other heel, toes point out to the side, the moon orbits the earth, or sometimes called stirring the chi. Circulating the energy and the blood flow throughout the body. And then reverse direction. And you might even start to feel a little buzzing or tingling in the fingers and hands. That's the energy, the bioelectricity, our chi. And then hug the tree, bring it back to center, and soften. And then step one foot in a little bit closer. And then from here, the arms open wide. This hand here drops down and drifts over to the other side. The hands switch positions, and they float across like clouds in the sky. When you get to the corner, the hands switch again. Wave hands like clouds. Softening the shoulders, softening the neck, softening the face and the eyes, using only what you need. So we learn to move with efficiency and integrity. Nice and soft, deliberately. All right, now this time the top hand makes a hook. The bottom hand comes up and then floats across the horizon. The palm turns out and then circle the hand around again. We call this one single whip. And just really softening at the end. This time you can step in if you like, as the hand comes up, and then step out as the hand floats across. All right, one more time, single whip. And then release the hook. The hand drifts over, wave hands like clouds once again, taking your time as you step in, drifting across, letting go. Breathing. Moving from your center, your torso. The arms follow, and then the top hand makes a hook once again. The bottom hand floats across the horizon, palm turns out, circle it around again, single whip. And you can keep going just like that. Or if you want, this time you can step in as the hand comes up, step out as it floats across. One more time, single whip. And then release the hook. Hand drifts over, wave hands like clouds. Taking your time, stepping in, drifting across. Still breathing. And we'll drift across a few more times like a moving meditation. Great for people that have trouble sitting still. But really just tuning into the body, just feeling the breath, feeling present. All right, one more time, wave hands like clouds. And then both hands drift over to the side, they float down, and then floating up to the other side to about shoulder height, shifting the weight over as well. Nice gentle sway. And then from here, this hand scoops down and comes right out in front, just to about eye level, and down. And then once again on the same side, just the arms at first. Just taking your time, the hand comes out in front, the other one by the hip, and down. This time you can lift your leg if you like, touching down as needed. The rooster stands on one leg. Stepping back down, and you can keep your foot down or you can lift it up, meeting yourself where you're at. You can always go forward from there. One more time on this side, the rooster stands on one leg. And then the arms drift over to the other side, floating up to shoulder height, taking your time. And then this hand here scoops down and comes right out in front to eye level. And down, breathing. Once again, just the arms, no rush. The hand comes out in front, the other one by the hip. And you can keep going just like that. Or if you want, this time you can lift your leg, touching down as needed. The elbow over the thigh. Once again, touching down or lifting up, letting go of judgment the best you can, bringing curiosity instead. One more time, the rooster stands on one leg. And then circle the arms all the way around and hug the tree right out in front. And then from here, the arms open up wide, the hands float down, the backs of the hands face each other, they float up the midline of the body and then drift out to the sides, the fountain. Breathing in, rising up, breathing out, softening down. So we learn to move like water, soft but powerful. Breathing in, breathing out. One more time, the fountain. And then this time, the hands float down, the fingertips point up. And they keep on going all the way up overhead and then spiral out and away from each other. Silk reeling, upward spirals. Once again, fingers point up and then the hands spiral out and away. Opening the shoulders, opening the chest, decompressing the spine, creating space, creating freedom of movement along with stability, feeling rooted into the earth like roots of a tree. One more time, silk reeling, upward spirals. And then step one foot in, coming on the ball of the foot. The fingertips point up, they keep going up overhead once again. Now this time you can lift your leg if you like, touching down as needed. The phoenix rises. All right, one more time. Touching down or lifting up. And then stepping down, other side, taking your time. You can keep the foot down or rising up. The phoenix rises. Touching down as needed. All right, one more time. And then stepping down, reversing direction with the arms. The hands meet each other in front of the heart. And as you breathe in, the hands open, brushing out to the sides. And as you breathe out, the hands come back together in front of the heart. Breathing in, open. Breathing out, the heart opening breath. Sending energy to your heart and lungs. Sending out love and compassion to yourself and to the world. Clearing out old stuck energy, making room for the new. One more time, the heart opening breath. And then step one foot out to the side, a little bit wider. And then from here, the fingertips dive out to the sides, piercing through. And then the other side, scooping around as the dragon pierces through. And just very gently rotating side to side, letting the hands scoop around like you're piercing through the clouds in the sky. And then if you want, you can let the hands begin to drift upwards towards the mountain peak. And then going down the mountain trail to the base of the mountain. And then tuning into your body and moving in any way that would feel great for you right now, in this moment. The spontaneous dragon. So just letting the energy guide you, letting your body's wisdom guide you. Just tuning in, letting go. And you can just continue to go side to side if that works better for you, or spontaneously moving in any way that would feel wonderful. All right, one more time, the spontaneous dragon. And then release, round out, hug the tree, bring it to center, step one foot in a little bit closer. And then from here, both hands drift over to the side and float down, making two loose fists. One fist goes overhead, the other by the waist. And then switching sides. You can even look to the side too, if you like. This time you can lift your leg or touch down as needed. Other side, touching down or lifting up. The tiger hugs its head. Breathing in and breathing out. It's okay to wobble, by the way. But just letting go of striving, just being here is enough. One more time, the tiger hugs its head. And then from here, both hands float over to the side, drifting down, circle it around and hug the tree right out in front. From here, the arms open wide. The hands float down, the palms face up, one hand on top of the other by the lower abdomen. And then this hand floats all the way up and over, and then down the center line of the body. Other side, breathe in as the hand floats up, breathing out, centering. Calming the heart, calming the mind, creating focus and clarity. One more time, centering. This time, both hands float all the way up and over just as much as you can. The hands float down to the waist as you soften the hips and knees. Then circle the hands in front as if you had a big ball in front of the body, coming back up to the heart and down. One more time, opening the heart, rising up, softening down, and then this time making a diamond shape with the hands in front of the heart, and then press out, sending out all your loving kindness to the world. May all beings be free from suffering. May they be happy. May they be healthy. May they live with ease. And then turning your palms to face yourself, the hands come to the heart. May I be kind to myself. May I feel connected with all beings. May I love myself just as I am. And the hands can float down to the lower abdomen. You can step your feet together or as close as you can. You can close your eyes or just keep a soft gaze, letting your body rock and sway ever so gently. Bamboo in the wind. It's feeling the sensations in the body that arise. Feel the sensations of the body breathing. And then bring your attention into your heart, creating an inner smile. Expressing gratitude to yourself for being here today. And then if your eyes are closed, you can slowly open them. The hands can come together in front of the heart, and we can finish with a bow. All right, thank you all so much. So if you like, you can continue to stand, or you can have a seat, and I'll play a little bit of the Native American style flute to create a little bit more inner peace. All right, so just take a few moments to really feel into the body, just noticing any sensations, noticing how you feel, and then type in the comments or the chat how you're feeling right now. All right. And then stick around because I'm going to show you the 3 best exercises to do to create even more stability and strength in the whole body. All right, especially the places that need it, especially if you have hypermobility or Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, or if you just want nice stable joints. This is going to really help just about everybody. All right, awesome. Thanks, Karen. Feeling happy and energized, at peace. Thanks, Malika. Calmed. Thanks, Molly. Awesome. Oh, enjoyed the flute music. Thanks, Shari. Great. Well, thanks, everybody, for typing in there. I'm going to go through all your comments, too. So if you have any questions, too, you can pop those in there. I'll go over those the next few days. Or actually, I screen them every day, really. So I'll get to them probably at some point this week. All right, but I wanted to show you now some of the best exercises. I'm going to post these in the video description as well. All right, they're not there right now if you're here live. So afterwards, I'll post them in the video description so you can refer back to them. And I actually wrote out all the movements that we did today in the flow. All right, sometimes I just do them from my mind. I don't really write them down, but today I wrote them down. And because I had a little bit of time to write them down for you. And that way, if those, especially those that are in the teacher training, if you want to start really learning how to integrate different movements, that might be helpful for you. Or if you're just curious, even if you're not in the teacher training, you're just trying to really just go a little bit deeper, then you can really, you can check that out. All right, so the first exercise, we're going to do 3. All right, 1 for the core, 1 for the upper body, and 1 for the lower body. I think that pretty much covers it, right? For the most part. The 3 best exercises you can do for joint stability. The first one is called the Bellows Breath. So this is actually a great one for breathing. So as our name implies, begin with breath. Breathing is such an important part of everyday life. We can't live without it, right? We can't go very long without the breath. Now, most of us actually breathe in a way that's not efficient. We're still getting by, but what it does is when we're not breathing efficiently, we're actually creating low-grade stress, or maybe even medium or even high-grade stress, more so than we're already experiencing. So we're kind of adding on to the stress by not breathing in an optimal way. All right, and so the best way to breathe, or at least to practice breathing, you don't have to do it all day, but is the belly breath. That's why we start almost every class like that, because I want you to have it as second nature. And when we breathe with the belly, we're actually using the diaphragm. The diaphragm is pretty much right in the middle of the torso, and it's kind of like a dome, or like an umbrella even. And so it's kind of, or a parachute. Sometimes I like that visual, because it does have a top, which is kind of like a dome, but then it actually has kind of like strings, like the parachute coming down, and those attach to your lower back. All right, so the diaphragm is sometimes involved with back issues. So if you start breathing more efficiently, you might even notice your back starting to feel better. All right, so this one's nice because you can do it sitting down. All right, so I'm gonna grab myself a chair. You can have a seat too if you want. And we'll do the first one. So this one's called the Bellows Breath. So it's a little bit more advanced than just the regular belly breath, because we're gonna add in one extra component. But let's start off with the belly breath. All right, so just place your hands on your abdomen. As you breathe in, the belly expands. And as you breathe out, the belly returns toward the spine. All right, so it's almost like you can even give it a little help. So if when you breathe in, you can kind of see if you can stick your belly out a little and then just let it fall back passively. All right, don't overdo it. Especially you don't want to, I was kind of exaggerating so you can see my belly, but you don't necessarily want to back bend for this particular one. You want to stay nice and stable, and then just breathe in, the belly expands. Breathing out, just soften. So once again, this is one of the best things you can do every day. Just at least 5 breaths a day. That's your prescription. So 5 belly breaths a day, and you'll be doing better all around to some degree, I think. So. All right, now we have the bellows breath. So this is to start really building core stability while using the breath. All right, very powerful. All right, so we breathe in the same way. So we breathe in, the belly expands, but as we breathe out, we contract the abdominals and blow out. So it's like a bellows. And then breathe in, So we breathe in, it's almost passive, it just kind of opens. And then as we breathe out, we contract, kind of squeeze the abdominals if you can. And if you can't get it right away, that's okay. It can be tricky to get in touch with those muscles, all right, especially if we have a lot of issues around the abdomen and belly, which I know a lot of people do. And so we sometimes avoid that area, you know, and so it might take a little while, so please be kind to yourself. Just know that, like anything, things are tough at first, and then over time, they get easier, all right? But you have to practice. So just practice a little bit each day, knowing that it's okay to not be good, whatever your version of good is. All right, so breathing in, the belly expands, and as you breathe out, contract the abdominals, which kind of makes your breath come out a little bit forcefully. All right, so maybe like at least 3 to 4 seconds in, and then 3 to 4, or maybe even 5 seconds out. So you can extend the exhale, that's even better. All right, one more time, breathing in, breathing out. All right, that is the bellows breath. All right, really good for learning how to breathe efficiently, but also strengthening your abs and your core. All right, so it's gonna be really good also for your back. So that's number one. So that's your core exercise for stability. The next one, oh, by the way, if that's easy for you, I know there's some people that maybe are like, oh yeah, I already do that. Then you can actually do it sitting on an exercise ball. So one of those big balls. Now, if you haven't done that before, maybe don't do that. Make sure, because you can fall off, so you want to be safe. Or at least make sure you have stuff on either side so you can hold on to. But when you sit on one of those stability balls or exercise balls, or sometimes called the Swiss ball, but it's a bigger one. It's kind of like, it'd be probably like that tall maybe. And then you'd sit on it, and when you sit on it, it's kind of squishy. That makes your core activate a little bit more, and it makes your postural muscles activate in a good way. So you can do that if you want for this exercise, but keep in mind with that too, with the ball, sometimes people promote like buying one of those for like your office chair. You can get really sore if you do that for more than a few minutes at a time. So if you do have one, I highly recommend not doing it all day, not sitting on one of those all day at first. Maybe just do 5 minutes, and then if you're okay, the next day do 10, and then slowly add in maybe 5 minutes per day or even week for stuff like that. All right, so it's always better to go gradual so that you're not super sore, and that'll take you out, and you won't want to do anything if you're too sore. So, all right, so the bellows breath, you'll want to do that 3 to 5 breaths. Well, I would say we'll just say 5 breaths. 5 to 10 breaths, but start off with 5 every day, or 5 to 7 days per week. So basically take a couple of days off, especially if you're sore. So if you're not used to using those muscles, you might be like, wow, I'm really feeling that the next day. So just go easy with yourself. Take a day or two off until you're not sore anymore, and then get back to it. All right, so 5 to 7 days, or even less if you're sore. But just let's just start with 5 breaths, 5 bellow breaths. So 1 breath is in and out. All right. Number 2 is for the lower body, is the mini squat. All right, I've shown this one a lot because it's so important. All right, and so it really is first important to do the hip hinge. So I'll show you from the side. Actually, let me just move this chair. All right, so for the mini squat, we want to spread the feet a little bit wider than shoulder width, or at least shoulder width, so that you're feeling stable. You don't want them too wide so that you feel like you're gonna go into the splits or something. But just go so where you're a little bit wider than you would kind of normally stand and stable. All right, and then I'll show you from the side, because the key to the mini squat is this hip hinge. We want to hinge from the hips so the hips go back. All right, we don't want the knees to come forward. We want the hips to go back. That's going to protect your knees and protect your lower back. All right, you can hold the arms out in front if you want. The chest has to come forward so that you don't fall back. All right, so your center of mass, you want to keep it right over your base. So you want to keep your center of your weight right over your base, okay? Your base, like your feet. And so that way, you don't fall backwards. All right, and then once again, you can look straight ahead, or you can slightly look down a little bit, but try to keep everything neutral, your back and neck. All right, so you don't want to round your back as you're squatting, right? So you want to just keep your back kind of straight, keep your neck straight. All right, that'll keep everything in great alignment as you stabilize. It'll teach you how to be stable in that position. All right, so once again, 5 to 10 reps, 5 to 7 days per week. So maybe start off with 3 times a week, work your way up to 5. As always, take a day off if you get sore. Give yourself time to recover. All right, so that's the mini squat for the lower body. And then for the upper body, we have the plank. So the wall plank is great for people to start. All right, and so what you'll want to do is find yourself a wall. Let me just move this even more here. All right, so you'll want to go to a wall, and then what you'll want to do is have your hands at about shoulder height, and then just lean forward into the wall. That's pretty much it. And so that way you're weight bearing through your arms. So this is going to create stability in the shoulders and wrists and elbows. But also, if you keep your back straight, then it'll stabilize your core as well. You can even do the belly breath for extra points. So, but do about 5 to 10 breaths, or you can hold for 10 to 30 seconds. All right, so maybe just start off with a few breaths, and then if you're like, whew, all right, I got to give my arms a little break here. It's kind of a lot. Now, if you have wrist issues, you can always just go on your forearms. That'll protect your wrists. Right, I'm trying not to knock over my flutes here. But you want the feet to be probably at least 6 inches away maybe. Because if you're really close, then you're not really doing anything. So you want to back up just a little bit so that you're weight bearing through your arms. That means you'll start activating your core in your arm muscles, your stabilizers, basically. All right, and so you'll want to hold for 10 to 30 seconds, or you can just take 5 to 10 breaths if you don't want to count. And breathing is probably even better because then it reminds you to breathe with the belly breath. All right, you don't have to add in the bellows breath with this. That's for maybe a couple weeks from now. Once you master the basics, then you can add in doing that with the bellow breath. Then that's really extra points there. All right, and so, oh, by the way, for the squat, I forgot to mention the breathing for that one. And so we breathe in as we go down and then breathe out as we go up. All right, if you get it backwards, that's okay, as long as you're breathing. But in general, it's usually helpful to breathe out when we're doing like the really strenuous part of the movement, which is coming back up. Coming down is not as hard, so you can breathe in and then breathe out as you come up. And that'll just help you out. But as long as you're breathing in and out, then you're pretty much okay. For this one, you just want to breathe normal, slow, deep breaths, add in the belly breath if you want, and then eventually the bellows breath. So you can combine those two together, save time. All right, if that's really easy, you can use like a couch. Make sure it doesn't move though. And then the more of an angle you're at, the harder it is. All right, so you can even use like a staircase. Start off with like the 5th or 6th step up. Just lean against it where your feet will be on the platform or on the floor. And then like the first step will be right there. Then you just lean forward to whatever step you land on. And then what you'll do is over time, go down a step. And then maybe in a week or two later, go down another step. And eventually, you might even make it to the floor and do a plank on the floor. But you don't have to. There's nothing magical about the floor, so I promise. So once again, always just meet yourself where you're at. If you only do the wall for the rest of your life, that's okay. There's really no prizes or anything to doing more, but it's really just, I'd rather have you just do it mindfully and breathe and really start to incorporate the breath and the diaphragm. That's where you're gonna get so much more benefit than just making it harder for you. So. All right, so you'll wanna do the plank, hold for 10 to 30 seconds, maybe less if you need to, and then, or you can take 5 to 10 breaths. Once again, do that once a day. Do all of these at least once a day, maybe even twice if you want, and 5 to 7 days per week. All right, starting off with less, gradually doing more as time goes on. All right, so when you're doing the plank, once again, try to keep everything straight. Don't be looking straight down. Keep everything neutral, we call that. So if you're standing up, this is neutral. This is looking down. This is looking up. This is neutral, neutral. So try to stay neutral. All right, so you might be looking a little bit down because otherwise you'll be tilting your head. So you wanna just go what would be like natural, neutral. All right, and you just hold. That's gonna really help with stability for the upper body and core. All right, well, let me know if you have any questions. Also, type in the chat if there's anything else you'd want to see, any specific conditions you might have, like, oh, can you do Tai Chi for this or that? And we'll put it in the lineup, all right? Now, we might be having some specialty classes like today. We'll be having more of those coming up. I had so many requests for special things like even neurological conditions and all these things because For those that don't know, I'm also a physical therapist, and I really want to help you with general information. Remember, these are not treatments from, you always seek medical advice first from your primary healthcare provider. But honestly, these are going to help you do whatever else you're doing. They're going to help complement that. So, but always check with your healthcare provider if you're not sure. If you do have a condition, always double check first. That's my disclaimer. So, but most of these are pretty benign, but very, very helpful. So simple, but effective. Those are my things I try to shoot for. So, but yeah, so write in the comments if you have anything that you want to see in the future, and we can put that potentially as the next class or a future class. I think I did see one comment I might have missed. Let me just see if I see one question. How far feet from the wall? Yep, so that one I mentioned is you want to do maybe at least 6 inches. It really just depends, because if you're super close, you're not going to be doing anything. So you step back and you're like, oh, okay, now I feel like my weight's into the wall, but that's easy. So I'm going to come back a little bit more. You might have to walk your hands down a little bit too, because you want your hands, you don't want to be down here, because then your arms would be stretching. So you want to keep your arms kind of like 90 degrees pretty much. So if you come down, you'll have to come up a little bit, or you'll have to come down a little bit. You might have to adjust. But you just don't want your arms up here and your body down there. So your arms will pretty much have to come down a little bit as you get further away from the wall. But if you get to a certain point, you might just want to get to use a couch, or like I said, the staircase. But from the wall, about 6 inches or more is probably what most people will be good at. All right, let's see. Oh, yep, 6 inches, yep. All right. Well, thank you all so much. All right, I think we'll sign off for now. But once again, if you are new to our community, make sure to register for your new member webinar. It's an introduction to Tai Chi. It's going to be this Saturday at 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time, US. Register even if you can't make it. We'll send you the replay afterwards, which will be available for 48 hours. So you can watch it over the weekend if you want. And yeah, I think it'll be a good time. It'll really help you out, get you started on the right foot, and just it'll be fun to hang out. So let me know if you haven't been yet, or if you're just new to our community, or if you want to learn more about our online studio. We usually talk about that at the end for people that are interested. So if you want to learn more on how to go deeper into Tai Chi and all of our other specialty classes where you get unlimited access to them in the studio, because these ones are up for about a week in the Facebook group. But yeah, we keep them unlimited for our studio members. So if you're interested in learning more about that too, feel free to register for free to the new member webinar. All right, and we'll see you next time. Thank you all so much. I really appreciate you all, and I look forward to seeing you again. Peace.